Hey there, folks. Welcome back. Today we are going to be telling you about our top 5 games under $50. This idea was spawned because, we understand that games are really, really expensive right now, especially between Kickstarter, GamePound, deluxe editions.
Inflation.
You're spending hundreds of dollars for games. And it makes the hobby feel very unapproachable to new gamers. So we wanted to just bring everything back, reel it all in, and tell you there's some fantastic games you can get for under $50. That's why we're here. We're excited to get into it. This is Shits in Cardboard. I'm John.
I'm Jeff.
Catch you in a second. Okay, so Jeffrey, why don't you start us off? What's your number 5?
All right, my number 5 is a very cheap game. It comes in at under $20. It is a bluffing game. It's a great game for parties. It's a great game to introduce new people to the hobby. It's very easy to teach. It's a great game to bring to the pub. So without further ado, Skull. Skull is my number 5. It's fantastic. It originated as a folk game. People just started picking up coasters at a local bar and drew on them and essentially turned it into a game. So essentially you have 4 coasters, 3 have a flower on them, and 1 has a skull. Your goal in the game is to pick up as many coasters as you can without picking up a skull. If you pick up a skull, you lose your coaster. If you successfully pick up 4 or 5 or whatever you bid, then you turn over your square coaster at the bottom. If you do that twice, you win. It's nice, it's simple, it's, like I said, easy to learn, and yeah, it's a ton of fun. I really, really like it.
I love Skull. It's a great pick.
Yeah,
I knew it would make your list or it would have made mine, but yeah, good call.
Yeah, I've introduced a ton of people to it. I went down and visited my cousin recently, and they were having a party and a potluck, and non-border gamers, I brought it to them, and everybody absolutely loved it. I'm going down in a couple weeks, and they want me to bring it back, so it's fantastic. Good. It's really good. Yeah, you should try it.
Awesome. Number 5.
Number 5, yeah, Skull. Okay, John, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is a nature themed, which is all the rage right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Worker placement?
Okay, yeah.
Kind of game. It's like a worker placement, order fulfillment situation.
Okay.
Where you're going along a trail, gathering resources, visiting parks. My number 5 is parks.
Nice, good pick.
Parks is fantastic. Parks is like the intro to worker placement. It's pretty light. It's not too heavy. Like it's like a 2.4-ish. I don't know what BGG is going to say, but really it plays a lot like a worker placement game. You're just gathering resources, and then every so often you get to spend those resources and visit a park or complete an order. It's a really good intro game. It's very approachable.
Yep.
It plays at, I think, up to 5, which is a very amicable player count. Yeah, it's 5.
Yep.
And yeah, just generally, I don't know. I think it's a hit. Especially, it's around $40.
Yeah.
So, the insert for parks, by the way, is gorgeous. Like if you talk components, like just look at that. Just
that is really
so
really
nice. You can't go wrong. You'll play it a bunch. It plays in a very reasonable amount of time. That's my number 5. Parks.
Okay, John, why don't you give us our number 4?
Happily, my number 4 is a deduction game. It is a 2 to 5 player experience. It is set in the realm of Alice in Wonderland. Already a hit. Like, how do you go wrong with that combination?
Yeah.
It is Paint the Roses. Paint the Roses is a deduction game where you are being given the whims of the Queen of Hearts. You are operating as her gardeners, and you are trying to communicate secretly while not really talking what the whims of the Queen are. So basically, you're all given a card that says, hey, the Queen wants, let's say, a suit of cards, like diamonds, clubs, spades, in XYZ color, red, purple, so on and so forth. You have to try to, by way of putting hints on the board, guess what card somebody else has. The more successfully you do this, the further away you move from the Queen. The worse you do this, the closer her axe gets to your neck. And if she catches up to you, you lose. Basically, it's cooperative. It's just a blast. It's great for any audience, any demographic. A kid could play this. An adult would have a blast playing it. My significant other and I really enjoy 2-player at this game. It's just such a hit. So, yeah. This is the deluxe edition. Full disclosure, the base game is $40. The only difference is the components and some modules, but we don't play with the modules 90% of the time anyway, because it's not worth the teach to try to get them to the board. So, yeah, that's it. Paint the Roses, my number 4. All right, Jeffrey, number 4.
My number 4. Okay, so my number 4 is a 2-player game. It's an abstract strategy. And it's very easy to teach. It's good for basically anybody who's 10 and older. If you like chess, you will probably love this game. That game is Hive. So yeah, so basically in Hive, you're playing very chess-like. All of your pieces, you've got ants, you've got beetles, you've got your queen bee that you're trying to protect, you've got spiders. They all move in different patterns and different shapes and moving around the board. Your goal of the game is to essentially capture the queen bee by surrounding that piece. You have acrylic tiles that everything is made out of. They're fantastic. They're really, really nice to play with.
Yeah, they're heavy duty.
They're heavy duty. They feel really, really good. I really like nice tactile components and everything. But it's got great replayability. There's tons of strategy. I think there's like 3 books on Hive strategy that are actually out there.
I didn't actually know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyways, you should definitely check this out. It's a great play. It's a great teach as well. So yeah, my number 4, Hive.
Awesome. Okay, Jeffrey, midway point, number 3. What you got?
All right. My number 3 is Blue Lagoon. This is a great game. Basically, it's a bit of a point salad. If you are a fan of Go, you might like this. John actually introduced me to this game, and that's the way he got me into it, because I love Go. Go is a great game. Anyways, so Blue Lagoon is a bit of an area control game. It's a resource gathering game. You're placing islanders around this kind of archipelago, I think it would be, and you're trying to cut off your opponents from having control and kind of like the most presence on different islands.
Yeah.
You're also trying to connect as many islands with a continuous path of all of your workers, essentially, as much as you can, trying to gather the different resources, trying to collect different sets. It's a lot of fun. It's easy to play. It's fast. Yeah, it's a great game. It comes in around $40. Yeah. It's an easy pickup. It's not hard to learn at all. All you're doing is placing pieces, picking them up, picking up the resources. It's really great. So you should definitely give it a shot. Like I said, $40. It's a steal for that. Tons of replayability. Like it's
totally
great.
agree.
So yeah.
And off the back of that, some back-to-back Reiner Knizia action. Mine is a blind bidding, or actually not a blind bidding, but an open bidding game. It is set in Egypt. It is just, again, as pure bidding as games go. Very approachable, very easy to learn. It is Raw.
Great game.
So Raw, this is the deluxe edition again, but the base game comes in just around $50, just under $50. Raw is a bidding game where you're basically pulling out tiles and then deciding when you want to auction. And the magic kind of happens in that decision space of when you want to auction versus continuing to pull.
Definitely.
The tiles are in different flavors of sets. You're just collecting sets of tiles. You're scoring every round or at the end of the game based on the tiles that you have. That's basically it. But it's fantastic. I could not talk this game up enough. I really love how the end game is almost indeterminate, and there's a real push your luck aspect when it comes to like,
definitely,
I don't want to bid on this thing because then I want the next thing. But then, and then I want them to not have that bidding value that's going to win, but then maybe the round will end before I can do it. Yeah, it's just so good. Super well thought out. That's my number 3.
It's a good Raw. Yeah. Okay, John. What is your number 2 game under $50?
My number 2 game under $50 is Awkward. I don't have the box for the game. But it is a trick-taking game. It is an oink game. It comes in a very small box. I have replaced that box with a deck box. And I keep it in a box with a whole bunch of other deck boxes. That's a lot of box. My number 2 game is Scout. Scout is a trick-taking card game where you are trying to beat the last person's hand. You're not playing against the whole table per usual. The cool thing about Scout is your hand has to stay in the order you get it in. You can't rearrange numbers. You can't do anything like that. You take the cards, you pick an orientation, either one side or the other, and you play in that side for the whole round. The puzzle of this is really cool because when you can't beat a hand, you pick up a card and you can put it in your hand either way. That's kind of where the magic is. You're trying to create runs of cards, aka cards in order, or duplicates, sets of duplicates, so 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, so on and so forth. This game is just...
it's really good.
It's just something.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you, when you put down a run of like 7 cards for the first time.
I hate you.
You'll never, ever, ever feel anything like that in a trick-taking game ever. It's just so consuming. It's just such a good time. Anyway, that is my number 2, Scout. Okay, Jeffrey. Second highest game on your list.
Okay.
Crunch time.
All right.
What you got for us?
Okay, so my number 2 is The Wolves. This is a great area control game. And I want to say that the components in this game and everything for something that is right around the $50 mark is like a couple places that I checked out are under $50. A couple are like $1 more than 50. So around $50. The components are fantastic. It's really, really, really good.
And just for the record, that's a trend for all Pandasaurus games, not just
that's very true. Their stuff is like utmost quality and everything. So anyways, it's an area control game. You're basically playing a pack of wolves versus your friends. You're trying to run around the map and create more wolves, dominate other wolves. You're trying to take over territory. You're trying to create dens and just run around and be wolves, like howling and attacking and it's a lot of fun. Wolves are also my favorite animal, so it has a little bit of that as well. It has great artwork, just an all around really, really fun game. Really nice. So my number 2, The Wolves. We've played this several times, and I'm looking forward to getting it to the table again soon. So check it out. It's awesome. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay. So my number 1, this is probably, other than card games, it's probably my most played game in the last year. My girlfriend has been demanding that we play it. She loves this, and so do I. So my number 1 is Beer and Bread. We covered this game already on the channel, I don't know, a couple months ago or something like that. This is probably one of the best 2-player games ever made. That's at least my opinion, but I don't know how it's not higher rated on BGG. I just think not enough people have tried it. Essentially what you're doing is you are playing different cards to either harvest or produce beer or bread, and also upgrade your brewery and your bakery. You've got plots of land where you're growing wheat and hops and rye and barley, and you're just trying to produce as much as you can of both of the different resources, or the both beer and bread. One of the unique things about this game is that you actually score for whatever is your lower score amount. So say you get 20 points or 20 gold for beer, and then you get 18 for bread, you actually score for the bread. So it stops people from just trying to go straight into one thing, and it's also kind of a bit of a catch-up mechanic, or kind of like a hold the leader back mechanic more accurately. And it just makes the game, while you're playing it, even if somebody's gonna have a blowout at the end, it kind of brings it down a little bit, so it's a little bit more competitive. And some people find it a little bit frustrating, but I think generally, once you get used to the game, it's a really good aspect of it.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, it's great. You're collecting water, you're collecting all your resources, you're playing cards, and producing beer and bread. And who doesn't love carbs? So
carbs.
Yeah, carbs are great.
For the carbs.
If you haven't tried this game, it comes in. What was it? I think around $40. It's fantastic. It really, really is good. It has tons of replayability. It's a bit of a thinker, but it's not too hard. You can get into it pretty easily. It's not too hard to teach either. So yeah, great game. Beer and bread, my number 1.
Damn, it's a good pick.
Yeah.
My number 1 is a tile drafting, tile laying. You'll hate that I said this, but abstract strategy game. I said that just to get to Jeff, because he doesn't believe that this game is an abstract strategy game. Basically, every turn you're building an ecosystem. You're drafting tiles and animals, and trying to score animals on certain patterns while trying to make your tiles and the various elements, not elements, I guess, but ecosystems on those tiles be as large as possible. Various biomes. My game is Cascadia.
Good pick.
This is my number 1. Cascadia is like $35
Yep.
or so. It is just amazing. I don't think I have ever introduced this game to anyone who has disliked it.
I think that's true.
It's a hit with any crowd, any age. It plays so fast, especially once people are kind of used to what's going on.
Yep.
It doesn't really lend to analysis paralysis that much because you only really have 4 options.
Yeah, which is very nice.
It's just so nice.
Yeah.
It plays at, again, any player count, just so good. And I like the variants because every game you have kind of a different combination of scoring, and there's a whole whack of combinations you can have, so the game feels fresh. Yeah, I can't recommend this enough. This is probably my favorite favorite light game. It's in my top 5 regardless of price. So
100%.
just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cascadia. That's my number 1. We appreciate you watching and thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
If you found this list helpful or if you pick up any of the games, please comment below and tell us what you thought and how you liked the games.
Let us know.
Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.
Yeah, that would be perfect. That would be awesome.
We will catch you next time.
Thanks
Thanks so
everybody.
much.